This is the Studio Remodel project, which serves as the final assessment project for the Level 2 MS Project course, run for a few of my clients. So what needs to happen here is, as per instruction, firstly, let's go and have a look at the explanation. So there we have the explanation. This is a screen cap. This just defines what you need to do, which literally says to move from left to right and answer each of the sheets. So we go here to schedule. Let's go to schedule, and you have to open it and save it as Studio Remodel, your name. Set the start date as Monday last week. Well, that's very easy. When you do that, you've got to go to Project, Move Project, and I'm not going to do the rest, but you set the start date to Monday last week. Good. Then the next thing you have to do is you have to resolve the over-allocation problems, and we say that you can use innovative methods, keep the schedule, but you can spend more money. So the most obvious one, but not the most innovative one, is to go to your resource sheet and increase the size of your, the amount, should I say, of your resources. So that would mean you have to up PM to 2 and project coordinator to 2, but there might be another more innovative method in which you can not only solve the problem but drop your costs. So in this case, we've got issues with the project coordinator. Why don't you go and employ somebody else who's much cheaper, who can stand instead of the project coordinator, and then assign that person to these over-allocated resource tasks. So the PM and the project coordinator, so maybe the extra person there, and then for the PM maybe another person there. Up to you. Next question. Create some resources and assign the tasks without. Well, that's fairly straightforward. There are some tasks without resources, and those would be these over here. What are those tasks? Those tasks are aesthetics committee check and lessons learned meetings. You know the drills. Just go and create the resource there and assign. Okay, move to the next sheet. CPA. Set the baseline, show critical tasks, add a normal text column to the entry table called extra notes, show slack time on the project, create a WBS code, add a percentage complete column. All right, let's start from the top. We go here, showing critical tasks simply is a case of choosing critical tasks there. Showing slack is a case of choosing slack there. You can see there's some slack over here. There's some slack down there. Okay, what else do we need to do? The WBS. So we go to project, WBS, define code, and then you would give it a prefix. You would give it its levels as well. And then you would need to right click here and insert your column and choose your WBS column. Okay, right. What else did we need to do? Add a percentage complete column and then the extra notes column. Let's go and do that. So I think it might already have the extra notes column. You would need to go to down arrow TEXT. So we've already got one called Slack. So we'd probably, and text 2 is whatever that is. No idea. Let's go to text 3 and we would have that as an extra notes column. Renaming it extra notes. It's just text, so that's all we need to do. No formulae, no graphical indicators, just extra notes. Extra notes over there. Good. And then the other instruction was the percentage complete. Well, that's already in, but you would have done it the same way you added the WBS column. It's very straightforward. Let's go to customization. I want critical tasks, which is already done. Durations onto the Gantt on the left-hand side and grid lines on the project. Very straightforward. Let's go here and put some grid lines in. How do we put grid lines in? We right-click and go grid lines, and we put a grid line in on Gantt rows, and we also put one in on bottom tier column. I'm not going to do it. All right, and then in terms of putting durations on the left, I would always recommend that you turn your critical tasks off for a while. And then we go right-click bar styles, and we would go to text down here, and we would actually type the durations in there. Durations. Okay. All right. Duration. Over there, and they appear over there. Very good. All right, so durations have appeared. Let's go to our next instruction, which is costing. So activate the cost table, add a contingency column that calculates 20% on top of the baseline cost. Well, that's very straightforward. Let's go and activate the cost table by clicking on View, Tables, and Cost over here. Now, in order to add a contingency, this might already be in here, we would add a cost table, and no, there's nothing such that exists, and you would need to right click, go to custom fields and rename this, and let's call it contingency. Contingency, and you would have to put a formula in that adds 20% to your baseline cost, okay, or to your total cost, either would do. So if you click on formula there and accept the error message, we would simply go to a field, a cost, and times 0.2 or 1.2, doesn't matter, and we click on OK, and it will warn us, and then we use the formula for summary rows as well, and voila, there it is. Notice these aren't costed over here, so they will end up as 0 anyway. What else do we need to do? We created the contingency on top, and then filter out all tasks that, in fact, save the filter that are between 20 or more than 20,000 Rand. So we go to baseline costs or total cost, down arrow, filters, custom, and greater than 20,000. But here's the trick. To click on save and call it your high cost filter, click on save and apply and OK. There we go, it's been done. Let's clear the filter. We go here to filters, even though it says no filter, you can see it's filtered there, so you can go to clear filter. There we go, and I can see that you've created your high cost filter, which isn't showing here, but I don't think I saved it. But yeah, there we go, you could have done it. It will show up there. Good. I'm not giving you the answers, I'm just pointing you in the direction. Timeline views. Create a timeline, add those two tasks to the timeline. Create a view named after yourself, splitting between Gantt and resource graph. Let's go back. So easy, view, timeline, and we would simply choose those two over there, right click and add them to timeline. It would then put them up in the timeline, and then what I have to do is create our special view. What I'm going to do is switch back to my table entry view. All right, and I'm going to create a new view by going down to the bottom here, more views, new view, combination view, and I'm going to call it XYZ or whatever. Primary view on top, Gantt chart, details pane, resource graph, and then we click on OK and apply, and it will do it. I'm not going to do it now. Then your XYZ view will appear on the left hand side here. That's the bottom instruction here. One more reporting. Let's see if I can't squeeze it into one 10-minute video, but I will do it in the next one. Stop video. This is now the second video on the final assessment of MS Project Level 2. So what you need to do is modify the cost overview report so that it looks more or less like this. Make sure the table shows 3 level and indented. Remove the pesky website link. So that's pretty straightforward. First thing we go to is Report, Dashboards, Cost Overview. Oh, in fact, it's already been done, but look, let's get rid of these. Right click on, don't left click because you'll go through to a website. Goodness knows why Microsoft did that. click on the border, press delete. So that's how you get rid of those. You've got to do that all the way down here. I'm not going to do it now. And then we're going to create a bit of space here. And okay, there, I did click. You see, I clicked on a link. That wasn't smart. There we go. We're going to make this bigger. We're going to change the chart title. We're going to make it report design, chart design, and we're going to change it to that view over there. That's what I've done. All right, and then I'm going to add data labels there, and it puts the numbers there. If I want those data labels to appear below like that. There we go, well done. Then the other question is, click on the table. Let's get rid of format shape. We don't need that, but we do need to make sure that 2 levels or 3 levels are shown, and we need to show the hierarchy, and that will show the entire project. Look, it's showing the entire project. Beware the bounce problem in 2016, 19, 21, and 24. You sometimes struggle to scroll down in a report. So that was that question. Let's go back to Microsoft Excel and do tracking as the very last question. Assuming you set the project start to last Monday, now insert a progress line based on current date. Okay, let me just go back to reporting here and check. All right, there we go. And make sure the project's on track. It must look similar to, not identical to the graphic on the left. So straight line, and progress up to date. Now, I haven't moved my project, but the way in which you would do that, remember, I didn't move it to last Monday. It's still operating in April, and we're sitting now in September. But let's say, let me just quickly move the project, and we can move it to last Monday. So we first move it to today, and then we move it to last Monday. Let's do that. Over there, good, the 15th. And I've moved the project. Now what we do is we reinsert a progress line. We go right-click, progress lines, base it on current date, and not a status date, and click on OK. And then what we do is we select all tasks, and we go mark on track, and voila. Now this has got a different color. It should put a line in there. That's a problem. That doesn't look right, but yours will look like this. It will look like that. All right, there we go. End of tutorial.